So the fifth and final topic in this intro discussion is the Java Executors class. And I've mentioned that to you very briefly before. Now we're going to cover it in a bit more detail. So we'll talk about the factory methods that it provides. So we talked about before, it's a utility class. Talked about what a utility class was. Some of the methods in this utility class are factory methods that create the appropriate executors. We'll see in a second what those would be. These would be things like cached thread pool executors. You can see new cached thread pool, fixed executors, new fixed thread pool, work stealing executors, new work stealing pool, right? And there's a few other variants as well. There's even a single threaded variant, which is kind of funny. And then there's also this thing called a thread factory. And a thread factory is used to create new threads when a thread pool needs to make a new thread, it uses the thread factory to make the thread. And there's a couple of different variants here. There's a default thread factory that will create default threads, and a default thread is just a regular good old thread. And then there's also an API that you can implement in order to create custom threads for a thread pool. Why would you ever want to do that? You might have a situation where you want to be able to create new threads with a certain priority. That's not the default priority. You might want to be able to create new threads with a certain name so that you could tell that they're part of some thread pool abstraction that you've defined. You might want to create threads with certain properties that you don't get by default, like setting the threads to be daemon threads, and so on and so forth. So you can control those things by simply implementing your own thread pool factory, and you'll see that many of these methods here, like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, take a thread factory as a parameter. So that gives you a chance to customize and make your own thread factory. And you'll see there's a bunch of other methods here, like this one, this one, this one, and this one, that just use the default thread factory that comes out of the box. So there's a couple of different variations that you can do there. All right, we'll come back much later, probably in a week or two, and talk about how these methods are implemented. Some of these methods are implemented just to learn what's going on under the hood, but you don't need to know that at the moment in order to be able to do your assignment, so we'll skip that for now.